Thank you. Let's start over. I was wondering why.
Is anybody on there?
No, let's start the meeting now because it was muted.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Uh, as I said, Mike did motion to approve the minutes. And we are going to just approve these minutes if there's no changes. That's been recommended and there are none. So the minutes from the meeting on October 20th are approved. And now we're looking at, just some of the financials. As you can see, like I said, the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest difference is the interest income that we are now receiving from Stockyards and from Republican. Looks like those are really offsetting any expenses, and hopefully we will be able to do that for a period of time, which will be good. There was, as you look through these financials, are any questions about any expenses that exist? Michael, since you're here, anything that caught your eye, didn't catch your eye?
And I did have a question for Chip. I think we had worked out our agreement in May, but I haven't seen any payments.
Right. Yeah, I just haven't seen it.
Or how's that? What's the process for that?
I haven't seen the invoice yet. I just honestly I just hadn't felt compelled to. I will. I mean, that it's $2,500 a month, which is kind of small to get my machine to do something every month.
Is that something where you may want to do quarterly or something where?
Yeah, I think so. I'm cognizant of it because I don't want the board to be like, well, we just paid Baird $25,000. What are we doing here? Anyway, so it's just a balance of, I don't feel to be honest about it. I don't mean this disrespectfully, but it's small. I wasn't really worried about it. I was going to do it here shortly because I'm at the end of my calendar year and I need to account for it in calendar year 23. But at the same time, I know I need to. So I'm glad you asked the question, but that's my honest response.
Well, I just think, with the 2,500, like I said, I think that we are, budgeted for that. And as he does that, I mean, it could come and when he does send it in, it'll say this is for X amount of months.
Yeah.
So it'll be able to be broken down. So, but I appreciate.
Yeah.
If it's easier to do quarterly, whichever, I just,
Yeah.
want to make sure we honor our agreements.
You will. Yeah, you will. And I appreciate it.
And we have asked Chip on a monthly basis.
Yeah, they asked me.
He's given us the same answer. Just gave you.
Yeah.
So we've just been waiting. We're not regarding it as any kind of hair on fire. We're just leaving it up to there to decide whether.
Yeah,
what
but
they want
to
to
be
do.
more professional about it, yes, I'll do it on a quarterly basis going forward. I'm enjoying this so much. I don't really think about it as pay, and so I never really every once in a while.
Invoices I use.
Huh?
So I have invoices I use.
Yeah, that's I just
And I'm probably gonna start doing mine quarterly,
Mhm.
since I'm gonna be on a set amount too, but just so it doesn't get behind any longer, get with like a bigger bill than you expect. And what I'll probably do is I will send September, October, and November right after the beginning of December to get like one final bill for its like part of the year.
yeah. Right, so it's November. I'll send one in December. That's okay. And it'll be for whatever when I started per month
Yes.
for Rada.
Just to get it all accrued and like.
Just yes. And then March, June, September,
That's-
December.
Yeah,
All right.
that's how I'll start doing it too, so we can
At the end of
plan.
the year, whatever we are with you, and you, and then quarterly going
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
And it might be,
Calendar year.
yeah.
I'm on calendar. Personally,
I'm on a calendar.
you guys are all on fiscal year.
Oh, there's Alicia, y'all. Thank you.
Beyond the 30 fiscal year end? Are you calendar?
Calendar,
Oh.
we're calendar.
and it might
I
be
did that.
a
Yeah,
good idea at the board meeting to just tell all the board members what the billing schedule will be.
Okay. Okay,
Because
End of the year, right.
maybe there are other people besides Mike that
Right.
wonder, when are we gonna get a bill for? That's why.
Is it appropriate to just, what you two are talking about, can we just clean it up through the end of this year?
That's what
Like,
we're gonna do.
through December, because you said November.
First reason.
My bill that I will send in December will be for time through November. Because lawyers really shouldn't bill.
Okay, I got you.
For time.
I
It's
got you.
Weird for us to do that.
Mhm.
So like technically my December bill will come in.
January.
March, if we're doing.
Oh, in March, I got you.
But that gets us the closest to contemporary.
Okay.
Just because of the way.
I got
we
you.
are.
So December, January, February, March, that's
That
that
will
bill, okay, that makes sense.
I did, I heard you say that we were gonna have a certain amount with you.
It's gonna be a set amount per month, but I just don't feel comfortable sending it ahead of time, like sending you a bill.
For December
December
before,
5th, the month of December, because I haven't worked through December yet.
But
I haven't heard that fee.
amount, I mean, so I'm saying
yeah,
that.
that's what I was thinking, it's a set amount.
But it's
It's a
a
lawyer.
lawyer thing.
Okay.
It's all it's being paid after.
If
If you haven't done.
I haven't done the work yet, I've got to put that in escrow until the. end.
Okay,
So if you don't do $2,500 worth of work for December, you can put something different. I'm just saying, if,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it's the same bill, I don't understand why we can't do that, but if it's,
It's-
you know.
It's a lawyer.
Yes.
lawyer thing,
Okay.
that's, yeah, and when they say it's a lawyer thing, just leave it alone.
Prepaid fees are a nightmare.
Yeah.
Exactly. Putting it over. Yeah.
Alright, well, we'll definitely address that at the board meeting, and then, like I said, but by December, we will have paid fair, and we will
Yeah.
pay the legal fee through November.
Alicia has joined us.
Alicia, thank you for joining.
See where.
Now if we, you know, Alicia, have you looked and reviewed the financials? Do you have any questions about anything?
I have no questions.
You're on mute, I can't hear you, but I read your lips and said you don't have any questions, so.
Can you hear me? I don't have any questions.
Is the volume up on the TV?
It is,
Oh, on the TV.
Oh. yes,
Yeah.
it was up.
Okay. So,
I'll go up to 75, just. Alicia, say something, please.
Good morning.
No, so it's on her end because we're not muted here.
Can you hear me now?
No. I'll check that. Mhm.
Well, she can put stuff in the chat.
Yeah, you can put stuff in the chat. For some reason, we can't hear you. So no, we're on 100 here.
Can you hear me now?
but I do need,
Now, we can begin to hear you.
You can hear me better now?
Yeah. More. Good deal. Thank you. Yeah.
nobody has any questions, I guess we need a motion to accept the financials. So I got a motion by Michael, I need a second.
Just
Thank
a
you.
second.
Uh,
Something's wrong with her volume.
is there any other questions or discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye.
Put your finger
All
up.
right, the motion carries.
Okay.
Chip, man, if you wanna kind of give us a update on,
yeah.
William, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Say it again.
Can you hear me now?
Now, yes.
The main thing is the TIF calculations, and I stay in regular contact with Gary Morris, Department of Revenue, and we don't have the number yet. And I know I think I expressed to Rita that I know it's on his most important thing to do. So it's not as if they're gonna get around to it. I know they're actively working on it, and they just don't have it yet. So you know, the hope was to have it by now, you know, but they don't. It's important. That's gonna be a great big question for the board meeting. And you know, if just as a reminder, So the finance committee's prepared ahead of time. When we went down and met with Gary Morris and his team for Department of Revenue and the commissioner, one of the things that they pointed out that they wanted to give us a heads up on was that 8% potential for inflation. Because the most important thing that all the, the constituents could understand is that, yes, there's a base, and any increment over that base that's generated in terms of taxes goes to the benefit of the partnership, but that base adjusts by inflation. So they need to do that as well, and I think that they had already done that work, and she thought it might be as much as 8%, which is a pretty big increase in. I have no idea what impact it's gonna have on the increment. So I think that's the first main thing, that's just where we are with it. Which ties into the budget part of it. The budget, Rita worked with Otis,
Yeah.
and they have created a budget that basically just says, here's our, you have zero in there for TIF because we don't know what to put in there. Your only income is the interest off the bank accounts. And we just need to let the committee, the board also know that all the accounts are fully invested with Stockyards and Republic and earning the interest. And that's why they're gonna see in their budget probably, right now we have 800 something thousand there, but it'll be more than that.
In that in that budget.
Yeah.
And we're, if I can add to that, Chip, we're not just doing the budget for 2024. We're doing the historical piece, so the board will have it all. So in this spreadsheet, it'll be 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. And then Laura and I are working on some of the line items with regard to projections for 2024. So the budget is being worked on, and our goal is to be able to have that out and in place so that can be up for approval after it passes the finance committee by the first meeting in January for the full year. So yeah, Otis was very helpful and very supportive.
I think the most important, I'm accustomed to working with budgets, and normally when you're working with a budget, you're working with institutions that have a lot of history, and you have a business that you spend money on historically. Excuse me. So you can do a projection on expenses within a certain amount and have some certainty about what your expenses are. In your own particular situation, the expenses are unknown because you don't know in what way you will make your investments. And that's not where the focus needs to be as of yet. I mean, you need to have, where have we spent money, but in terms of 2024, where do we think we will have, you're gonna have a big question mark on expenses as it relates to investment.
As it relates to investment.
Not as it relates to staff
and operations and things like that. That's what we're working.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that would be good to have, but as he said, it's still, some of this stuff when we get in with, it's still gonna need to be fluid and flexible, because this could change based upon.
Oh, yeah.
As we go.
Yeah.
And that's what a budget is. I mean,
Right.
it's not a document that's engraved in stone. You have to be
It's a
flexible.
working document.
Right.
Yeah, it's a working document.
But I just think
Absolutely.
that it'd be important for us to show the history,
Yeah.
as far as what we spent, and then,
Mhm.
from the contracts and from the different things that we know that we're gonna have to do to have that, have that on paper and have people to be able to
And
see it.
this document will help the board, even before the board was in place. The
Right.
board will have that history. So from
I
the
think-
very beginning.
I think that a very positive thing. I think hopefully the board members will appreciate that as well.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, what about, just a little bit on the same, I know that, we've been meeting with, our partners, and as far as with the mayor, executive branch and the council, how those things, how we doing there? I mean, we
There,
still,
those meetings have been going very well. Part of what I wanted to talk about under my report is a couple of things that are on the horizon.
okay,
This week, we've had a meeting with Clark Welch, who's the head of GIOI.
Economic development.
development.
Oh,
yeah.
Mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
and the issue that he was positing in front of us was, what kind of work can we do together on behalf of the entire city, because they're viewing us as a critical part. And you know, today, later on today, the mayor releases his economic development strategy for the city. In his report, he talks about, well, the draft of the report has been released to the task force committee members, and then we'll discuss the report and approve it in its final form this afternoon. But he's also talking about a cooperative effort between the city and key organizations in the city to help to spur develop. So they see us, the Western Opportunity Partnership, as a key part, and they want to bring us to the table when they have possible relocations of businesses or new businesses developing in the city, to see if there's something that we can do to attract the business to West Louisville, and then to use the incentives that we have. But the bottom line is, we have really excellent communications, and they're already strategizing about how we can work as a key part with the city to lift the whole community and economic development.
I think we definitely got the buy-in and commitment of the city. I do think it'd be important for us to continue to develop the relationship with GLI to make sure.
Yes.
In my opinion, in the past, I don't know how focused on African American initiative GLI has been.
Well, one of the things that was placed on the table yesterday is in our relationship with GLI, they can help us with kind of background data and information that we
As
need,
needed.
help us to analyze certain economic development opportunities. And they have staff that they can place at our disposal as we're reasoning our way through certain projects. This would be in addition to the assistance from Bayer, that they can literally give us some demographic information about the city, give us some reasonable projections about what how much money a new business, particular new business would make, et cetera. But in any event, the city has been reiterating their view that they see us as a critical and important part. And they want us to be able to have an open exchange of information and work together. And I think that's very positive.
Sierra Enlow joined him yesterday. She ran for the Commissioner of Agriculture. And I guess the common phrase is, the election didn't go the way I wanted, is what she said with a smile. But yes, she is now like a consultant working with GLI. So she joined Clark yesterday.
And one of the important things that she said, she was talking about her agriculture background, and she says that in her view, the attitude and view of rural Kentuckians is the same attitude and view that people generally have of West Louisville. That they simply leave the farming community and the West Louisville community out of the equation and off of the map when they're trying to, when they talk about economic development. She says she sees her task as putting West Louisville in the discussion for the same reasons that she has vehemently tried to put the farming community in discussion. So I think that's.
And I think that could be very beneficial for us as we continue to have dialogue and build relationships with Frankfurt.
Yes.
Because they are going to be very much, we can show that we are benefiting and collaborating with rural Kentucky where these legislators are. I think that helps us as far as maintaining a very strong commitment for the future.
I mean, I like that viewpoint. And I think we should lean into the data aspect of it.
Yes.
Because it's not part of our charter, but if we can help change the narrative of what happens in West Louisville to people outside of West Louisville. In the West End, I think that would be awesome. I can't wait to get the baseline numbers because the story is that, the West End is just some charity. And, but we pay taxes, we bring in money but nobody knows how much. So
Yeah.
having those numbers.
It'll be neat.
And that, yeah,
Mhm. Good
a
point.
couple of years ago, One West published, some numbers on the economic impact. The retail that leaves West.
Mhm.
And it was pretty staggering, so. Having those numbers, being able to change. And it's gonna take a while. But having evidence versus just,
Yeah,
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But the bottom line is we've got a lot of, friends and interested partners out there. who really want to lean into working with us.
Very good sessions with James Graham Brown and Nana.
Yes. we
Those
had a
two, we
meeting
met with them
them.
this week as well.
It's Graham Brown, we brought them up to date on what we're doing, and they remain very, very excited about what's on the horizon for us. We talked about our activity that we planned in the first quarter, doing the feedback sessions in each of the 9 neighborhoods. They're excited about that. They asked if we could share the data, and of course we can. Let them know what people in the 9 neighborhoods want to see happen. So they remain very optimistic, and we have another meeting coming up with one of
Are
the,
you're not talking about Friday's meeting with Charles Booker?
no,
that one. Well, we,
another
yeah.
donor.
Well, we had the one with Manna as well to update, which was a good conversation, but the beautiful thing about the, James Graham Brown, that was at their board meeting. And that was Wednesday morning. And, Laura and I both got emails and texts back. They were just so gracious and thankful, so much so that they've asked for participation in the meeting on December 6th with the West End funders.
Oh, yes.
And they're gonna invite state and metro.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're gonna
in on that as well.
reconvene a meeting
Mhm.
of entities that have donated funds
Mhm.
to assist West Louisville or to organizations focused on West Louisville, and they want us to do presentation to them to bring them up to date. So we are out there trying to maintain our friendships and develop new friendships, highlight resources, develop new resources, and again, the enthusiasm that we see in the community for our organization remains high. And at this afternoon's unveiling of this report, the mayor has included our organization in as one of the vital partners in metro development. That we need to be at the table in the conversations
And
when we had new development opportunities presented. So
And then final, as we close, now I know that Laura would never say this, but I'm totally transparent. Every donor that we've spoken to, let me just say it, they have come back with accolades for the leadership of this organization. And so the fact that our reputation is doing this with the people who, stakeholders and donors, has everything and a lot to do with Laura Douglas. So I'm just saying that because she would never say that, toot her own horn, but you know me, I'm gonna tell it like it is. And I think that is absolutely fabulous. I'm done.
I wasn't going to say it. It's just gonna move on.
Yeah, she's gonna throw something over here, golf balls at me at some point, but I mean, that's just honesty. Huh?
She'll get you a packet of pistachio.
So anyway, I just,
Good work. It's a lot of work to get those meetings, to organize.
It is.
schedules.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of.
And
work.
it's about relationships.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's about relationships and it's about the fact that people respect the leadership
Yeah.
and know that it can get done and it can be done decent and in order, regardless of what's out there. And it's exciting for me
Yeah.
to be in this space at this time.
Well, I mean, I think that, like I said, and I would definitely want to reiterate that at the board.
Yeah.
I think that, well, like I said, having you here from a standpoint of the credibility that you
Yeah.
bring and just the experience, expertise, in this community, it's so
Mhm.
valuable to it. So
It is.
if we as board members don't know and understand that, we need to really know and understand that.
Yeah.
Let me say thank you again, but let's move on.
Now, the one thing I did, what about what's the timetable as far as getting into space? What's going on?
Oh, we've gotten into the space. We were able to get, furniture for the space. Remember from Allison
Yeah.
Lake Easton. They have not billed us yet for the furniture, but they said that for, how many offices is it? For
About 11.
About 11.
Yeah, we still have a few other pieces that we need though.
for about 11 offices,
Mm,
they intend to charge us $5,000
for all of the
for
furniture.
desks, chairs, credenzas. And they have.
File cabinets, and we still have about 4 pieces that they're gonna have sent down because they were not able to get all of the file cabinets unloaded. And so everything is in position. We gotta do some tweaks though. And then they're in the process now of installing the elevator lift in the lobby, so there's construction going on as far as the levy building. And then we have a few other pieces that we need to accessorize. You know, they didn't have enough chairs for everything, but we're working on it and it looks good even at this point, and we're not even done. So,
It looks fantastic.
I think that'd be done.
So what we're thinking of doing is, I wanted to do it sooner, but Rita had too much common sense to allow me to do it. But the first part of the year, we're gonna do open house.
That's what I was gonna say. Either
mm,
And it
the
might-
holidays and first week somewhere.
and
Yeah.
it might be good first to have the board to come in and to see it, and then to schedule an open house would be invite all of our friends, donors, city.
Yeah.
We could do a formal ribbon cutting with the mayor.
Oh, that would be.
that would be good.
That would be
And,
great.
and one of the things that Dr. Wade,
Oh, yeah.
cause you know, I always found,
When we do it, man, we gotta make sure we got Stivers, the governor, everybody.
yeah,
Fine.
yeah.
I'm ready to feel slighted.
Dr. Wade is always good to bounce off of when we talk to different people. And so she too thought to try to do it during the holidays. You didn't have enough time too soon. People have commitments. And she also suggested that, you know, as we move into these neighborhood meetings, let's get 1 or 2 little wins under our belt. She says, don't start celebrating until you have something to celebrate. You know, getting in the office is one thing. And I think within the first quarter that we will be in position to do that. And we want to do it like Alice Houston said, this is going to be big. So you want to do it in the right way. So we're excited about that.
I'm just gonna make sure we stay high artists.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely, because our friends are bipartisan.
Yes, right. Yeah.
that would be easy.
Yeah.
Bipartisan.
We can decorate in blue and red if you want us to. No, I'm kidding.
Could we do, no, you are still working on putting together, could we just have after the meeting? Meeting at the Y. December, right?
What'd you say?
The meetings at the Y in December, right?
We haven't said this.
No, we don't have a December meeting, and our last official meeting for the year will be November 27th, which the board voted will be virtual. But we'll have this space here if anybody needs to come. We don't have a meeting in December, so we start back in January at the Y. Hopefully by the end of first quarter, we will be able to have space on the second floor to have our board meetings as well.
Yes, at the hall.
Well, if we wanted to, like, walk the class after the board.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're talking about for the board to see. I see what you're saying. Like, maybe in the January meeting after that to come
No
over.
mistake, talking about the,
I think so.
It was virtual though.
It's virtual, so we're not have physically. November 27th is a virtual only.
You get a camera and walk us over.
the idea of having just a private show for the board is important.
Yeah.
To do that
Mm-hmm,
before we have
mm-hmm.
the public.
Even if there's not a board meeting, if we decide in November, we're sticking with that, and we don't think there's anything we need to do in this, or we can do like a board, open house, holiday. Open house.
Yeah, that would be fine too. I was just trying to find, people are already there, but
Yeah,
if it's already on everybody's calendar.
It's just
just something to kind of.
keep that in mind as we proceed.
Yeah.
All right.
Laura, I guess you wanted to talk about,
Yeah,
and talk
there's a
about some
couple-
things, yeah.
Couple of things. The other things, their community engagement and the neighborhood sessions. We have been, working really carefully with community engagement about the 9 sessions that are coming up. University of Louisville is going to partner with us, thanks to the efforts of Dr. Braddock, to support these 9 neighborhoods and then the general meetings, which is a big deal. We'll have some publicity around all of them. They're gonna be meeting prior to the board to work out some other details. And you heard at the last board meeting what their plans were. But in addition to just staging, one of the things that they talked about was to do something as a show of good faith. In conjunction with those meetings, that something that impact each of the 9 neighborhoods individually. So the thought was to bring that idea, that concept up in front of this committee. To see if you were comfortable with that. And it can be, for instance, the locations where the meetings are going to be held. Some of them will be community centers, which are nonprofit organizations. It may be important for us to make a donation to communities.
No doubt.
That may be something that we will want to do as a show of support for that individual. What's the thought around that from this committee, and what would you think a dollar amount per location? Who would be?
So we're talking about the 9 different neighborhoods.
Mhm.
So I mean, my first inclination would be, maybe allocate $1,000. I don't know, I mean, $9,000, man, that, I'm big enough with that.
That may not be even.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, then I'm not on the committee. If you think about it, we're getting now what? Not that we want to spend all that money down and want to cover our expenses, but we're now getting 125,000 in interest. So, more than 1,000 now, doable without cutting into our investments. Or crazy.
Mhm.
One idea. Some thought line had. We don't know where we are in the TIP. We do have the initial 30 million in seed money. We are making interest on that. Can't just, sit on it. So what if we committed half of that? We said, you know, we're supposed to have a 20-year run, since we took 15 million over 20 years, that's 750 a year. And said, you know, no matter what happens with the TIF, we're gonna guarantee that we're gonna spend, you know, $750,000 in the community every single year for the next 20 years. And then the community needs to come to us with projects to say, you know, my community needs this. This group is doing excellent work, but they're struggling, they need, you know, they have this obstacle, things like that,
Well, from my perspective, I would not try right now to make a commitment, a financial commitment about how much money you'll guarantee that we're going to spend. I think that for this go round, because it's kind of a kickoff, I think we can make a donation to do something on a smaller scale. I would not announce a financial commitment now, particularly those, we have not had a chance to analyze our financials to know how much we're actually going to get. I wouldn't do that.
Let me ask you something.
I'd be a little more cautious.
Back to the number, are we talking about a one-time gift or is we talking about an annual?
A one-time,
This is a
a
one-time
one-time,
gift is what I understood to.
one-time kickoff.
Some either community center or group in each neighborhood announced to add each neighborhood.
Yeah,
community. You know, and if it's added community center or community center, it could be that community center.
yes,
If it's somewhere else, you can find another good nonprofit to announce your community.
yes,
But, you know, whether it's 5,000 per neighborhood and then an announcement at the meeting of the giving to
yeah,
Russell communities.
yes.
Here's,
5 times 9 is 45. I mean,
yeah,
I can do that. I mean, I was thinking
Okay.
more of a one time, I mean, like annual kind of thing, we support these things, it's
no,
like,
this is like,
okay,
Just to keep up.
okay.
Yeah,
this is a.
Just to kind of get people, like Dr. Rollins was suggesting, to kind of
I
get
mean, but
people
when you do
engaged.
that, the ones that don't get it are gonna be mad at you. I mean,
they already
Yeah.
did.
saying, I think like, the question I have is, I think I understand that 30 million to be a seed for a long-term investment beyond the 20 years. The 20-year timeframe comes from the tip,
Yes,
you know, but the 30 million's seed is supposed to go on
Forever.
hopefully in
Yeah,
perpetuity.
yeah,
So, you know, you look at that 30 million as one-time money, and you can't count on interest income as recurring revenue.
Right.
So right now, we're without recurring revenue.
Right.
So you can't make recurring expenses. You can't budget recurring
Right.
expenses until you have recurring revenue. So let's get an idea where the tip is, and then you can start looking at what commitment you can make on that. Plus also, where I think about the TIF is it's leverage. So that is, when you talk about an organization that has an annual recur, once we figure out how it works and what it looks like and what's going to be on an annual amount, it's going to be worth something in the greater amount than that annual stream. So you want to leverage it. And, and I think about MSD and I think about the money that needs to be directed to the neighborhoods. And if you pledge some of your revenues, then that takes away from the leverage that you can create when you want to try to do something bigger and better for a community. That's right. I think it's important for the board to, think in terms of, hey, we've got one time, right now we're sitting on one-time money. So we'll do some one-time things.
that's right. That's right. And that's what this initial gift, it's a show of goodwill.
yeah.
It's
I think we gotta be careful about this. Look, this is an economic
Business.
yes. I mean, look, man, we're not here just to give money to nonprofits. Look, man, we're here to create economic opportunity.
that's right.
And I think we got, we want to make sure that people understand that. and don't, well, you did this, that's that, no, you know, don't, let's not do something that we are not set up to do. I don't know.
What you're saying is you don't want to set a precedent. Okay, because, yeah, that is a point to consider, because, you know, people will say, well, you did this, so can you do this? And, yeah, that's something to think about.
That's what we're gonna do now. Let's find some things that are going on in your district, and we're gonna invest in that to help hopefully create revenue for, and jobs. So
Yeah.
this, I think we gotta be careful, and if we're gonna do that, I wanna make it a very nominal number, because this is not what we do.
That's
That's
right.
And it's a one time,
Yeah.
and it's a hello, we're in the neighborhood kind of thing.
Mhm.
Because for
So
the,
are
the
you,
one organization that we make happy, the other 15 or whatever that are in the district, they're gonna be upset.
so are you comfortable with a $5,000?
I'm comfortable with whatever you guys recommend. I'm like, you know what I mean?
Okay, and then, of course, each neighborhood representative on the board, they have to have input on what would work best in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
Just like Dr. Miller gave us the inside information on kind of the feud or discourse that's going on inside California that I frankly didn't know anything about. But she was able to tell us that, and it impacts where we would decide to add the meeting. So in the same way, neighborhood reps, I think, should think it through and make a decision about where the gift would work best in their neighborhood.
And what about if, I don't know, what if we allocate 5,000 to a district? And look, they may give it down to a different organization. I don't know. I mean, but hey, we're going to make a contribution, make an investment into the nonprofits of $5,000, and then they can have maybe multiple organizations. I don't know. I mean, I think you gotta think about that. I mean, get input from the member and that's in that district. Say, okay, let's see, they may want to do something like, I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't think it should be so stringent, because this is about what I hear about creating some goodwill, letting people, hey, this is gonna be a positive thing. It's gonna be good for everybody here. So, like I said, let's try to make sure that it is as good for as many people as it can be.
But if this committee, the finance committee recommends it, say a $5,000 gift to an organization in each neighborhood, that recommendation still has to come in front of the board at the next meeting. And that's where the neighborhood reps can weigh in and say whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. And that's where we can share the information about, we're relying on the neighborhood reps to tell us what neighborhood, what organization, what entity in their neighborhood is the best.
I would get input from the neighborhood reps before we make a recommendation personally.
Okay,
Mhm.
So then we make their recommendation, maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I just want to say with regard to that, it's really time for, we really need the feedback from the neighborhood reps. I'm just sitting here thinking about, you know, I've sent out 2 emails to all 9 other, and you've got yours, Mike, I just drew a blank, and Alicia, you know, because Monday we're having community engagement. We're still trying to identify where the meetings are going to be held. This is the kind of feedback that we need from the representatives who live in the neighborhoods. So I just want to encourage, you know, we've been waiting and talking about when we're going to do something. Well, now we really need the neighborhood reps to step up and help us with this feedback. I've gotten 1 location out of 9 people, I've gotten 1 feedback with regard to the locations, and then our meeting is Monday. So I'm just encouraging the neighborhood reps that we really need you. Now is the time. We're really getting off the pot. And so
okay.
please help us.
So for purposes of this meeting, I heard you, Mr. Chairman, that you would rather get feedback from the neighborhood representative before we even go forward with any kind of support for this project. And that's fine, but we still have to And maybe it would be the community engagement, committee that would bring it forward after we had gotten some feedback from the neighborhood.
And I think from an operational standpoint, this is, look, I think I don't know how often you all meet with the neighborhood reps. I think from operational, it'd be good, you guys, I mean, outside of, that, there could be just a meeting with the neighborhood reps, because this is really what it's about. And I mean, but they need to understand how business is conducted too. So we need to stay connected to the neighborhoods, but they need to stay connected to how we're gonna have to do business too. And I think that's an opportunity for operationally for you to do that. And I think that would be good. And this is something where, yeah, but this is an operational decision, but you know what? You want to get input from the neighborhood, from you to how you think that.
Alicia wants to say something.
I couldn't find my raised hand emoji. I apologize.
Yes, ma'am. I can't hear you though.
Go ahead. I think she's delayed. Go ahead.
Yeah, can y'all hear me? Is it a delay?
Now.
Yes, no. Okay, so I hear what William is saying, but I don't fully understand what you need from the representatives, because the representatives have already said that they wanted to see those type of things. They wanted to see that $30 million or a piece of it to go back into the neighborhood. I do agree that there should be an amount, and we should do something, a one-time initiative to show that that is the direction we're going into. It's going to be difficult to grab their attention, to teach them about business or economics when they feel that we're holding on to these funds and not giving a good attention or saying, okay, we are here to help you with whatever's going on in our neighborhoods. I hope that makes sense.
Mike, what was she doing? She was saying that she thinks that the neighborhood reps have already have an expectation that we would make some type of investment.
I think there's,
Mike, speak up so she can hear you too. I know it's difficult.
I'm trying to choose my words.
Just be candid.
Just say it.
Yeah, yeah, that doesn't always work. I think there's some pent up demand, or there's a feeling, I think, out in the community, they're like, well, they promised all this stuff and we haven't seen anything. And, you know, William's right, that people, you know, they're gonna complain no matter what. That's a human thing, that's not just a West End thing. But we need to show that, you know, there's some benefit to the communities for this. I think there's a lot of questions of like, well, who's this for? And, you know, this is I won't say olive branch, because it's like, it's not, we're not making amends for something we've done. We're trying to show that we're making effort in the community and, like, you know, starting, you know, the machine, so to speak.
So you would support some kind of donation? Or
Yeah, I think,
Okay.
I mean, you
Let's
get into the
move forward.
weeds and
Let's
who gets
make that-
what, how much and all, you know,
Okay.
the
Okay.
politics.
Do we need to make a motion here to
Yes,
approve?
and then what we need to think about too is the appropriate amount.
Can we make a motion
Is
to
it 5?
approve up to not to exceed 5,000 today? I mean, and then if they come back and want more, maybe we can come back and do more or something. I think,
Because the board can always decide to do more, if that's what they want to do when this is presented to the board. This is just the finance committee's recommendation.
I feel compelled to share. I might be speaking out of turn, but I think it'll be important. Going to your point, is this a grant program or is this a business? Because the first thing you're gonna do is send a grant, and now you're potentially sending a mixed message of we're a grant program. It needs to be, I don't disagree, or it's not my place to have an opinion on where the money goes, but I think I harken back to what Senator Neal has said directly, you know, when I'm with you all in the room about this is a business, and I kind of think, so I just think however you all decide what's best, it needs to make sure that there's a message with it about what
Absolutely.
is this, what is this and what is it not?
Absolutely.
You know,
Mhm.
Absolutely.
you know,
I'm fine putting conditions that are, economic generator.
Careful with the language. That this is not a norm. Okay,
Mhm.
all right, now the other thing is, to shift real quickly, and I know that Dee has a finite amount of time she can spend with us. We have talked in the past about our, possible agreement with El Home to, do the, property tax program. And we are at the point where we have negotiated an agreement with El Home. And Amy is going to tell us what the salient features are of that agreement. I think you'll be pleased with it. I know that those of us who have worked directly on fine tuning the terms and conditions feel really swell about it. So Amy, can we
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I know you all are just getting this. This is because we only just got the term sheet from El Home last Thursday. Put together a draft that we talked through with El Home yesterday. Actually, their legal counsel has not vetted this, so there could be tweaks. But the general terms, El Home is. So just so you know what you're looking. What this does is it creates a $75,000 pool commission. El Home believes that's going to be enough to fund the program as well as hire any additional staff they need to run the program. At this point, they don't know how much there's going to be, how much additional work for them. So they don't know if they're going to do that or not. And then it's structured that annually they'll meet. Look back at the year since this is new and nobody really knows how this is going to go. And figure out, do we need more money? Do we need less? How is this going to work? And for the first year, we're gonna actually have a 6-month meeting in case it really gets subscribed and we need to revisit. But any of those annual additional amounts will have to be agreed on in writing by both sides.
So Amy, address the whole piece of our relationship with in the statutory piece about our obligation to create a loan program.
Right.
Talk about how we're addressing that.
Yeah, what this does is essentially delegates the responsibility to do this to El Home. They accept it and they agree they're going to take that on. Now, El Home raised a concern that because, they have been doing review for property taxes in the neighborhood, but it's not very subscribed right now. So we initially treated it as truly we're only funding the increment. El Home was concerned that their funds would get depleted and take away from other missions once this is advertised. So this has the flexibility written into it that El Home can even use some of our funds if the board agrees to fund all of the property tax on a loan basis and not just the increment. And then the repayments will go back into the loan. So that is another way we can also tell if we are investing, like it's people who are long-term residents, if they are having trouble paying their property tax, we are going to help fund loans for those properties. It's an El Home will administer those loans and those funds then turn around and reinvest back into them. So that's the one addition in here to merely covering what would be the tax increase since the last assessment, which is all we're responsible for. This 75,000 can also then be used in El Home's discretion to fund the underlying property tax. It's not prohibited. We're not required to do that, but it's a modest amount for residents of the neighborhood.
And the other salient feature is that portion of the loan, which we are required to cover statutorily, that increase, that as that money is lent, we are not requiring, interest.
Right, it's zero interest per
On,
statute.
yes, no interest is being added to the money that we are responsible for, which is really critical in our minds, because, the whole idea is that the folks who are residents, property owners and living in those homes in West Louisville as of 2022, their apprehension is that their property taxes are going to go up, and that they're going to be priced out of their homes because they can't pay the taxes. So if we have a relationship, a lending relationship, for instance, with L homes, and that portion of the increased amount is our purview, and we're telling the residents, we are not going to charge you interest. We borrow money to pay that increase. I think that takes us a long way. Also, all of these residents who make a loan to pay the increase and or the base amount, they are gonna have the opportunity to be enrolled in a savings program, which would allow them to save money on a monthly basis, pay the taxes
The next year,
without having to borrow.
Taking them out of the debt loop.
What's the name of the bank?
it was Old National.
Yeah, because,
The interest rate for the benefit of the.
It's like a Christmas club account.
yeah, the Christmas Club account, and they
Just like if
already,
you had a mortgage and an escrow, it's gonna be exactly. like
yeah,
that.
and Bell Home already has a relationship with Old National, where they try to get people to save, and Old National is excited about the opportunity to work on this new program because they see the benefit of it. So we think we've got designed here something that's gonna be useful to the borrower. It's gonna help them increase their capacity. It's gonna meet our statutory obligations. And we have an excellent relationship with L Homes based on the discussions and back and forth that we had. And we have a mechanism that's built in, which allows us to sit down at the table and review on a 6 months basis. So that we can stay ahead of what's happening.
And right now, it's a modest amount of money compared to the amount we've got, and it's something that's appropriate under the statutes. It's something good for the community. And it's something, once this is finalized, we can announce at these community events, in
Yeah.
addition to whatever these 5,000, 1,000, whatever grants, that we are
Yeah.
also have this available to bring
Yeah.
that for our residents, especially with all the discussion of non-displacement ordinance that was passed. That this is an attempt to help make sure that that residents of the West End displaced.
So this means we're not making money off. There's no mechanism where we can be involved in trying to collect
Right.
either the principal amount of the debt or some existing interest rate. So there's not gonna be any litigation associated with us having this lending program. We think that puts us in a better position with the average man on the street.
And it helps to uplift L Home. I mean, as a
Yeah.
community-based lending organization, it adds another layer of structure to help elevate that organization, which is good.
So what's the reaction?
I gotta read through this, I mean, you know. I think
Well, and
This sound, I mean, reasonable, but that's what we're.
Mhm.
And that's what I was gonna suggest. I know that you all just got hit with this, and there's a slight twist on it because of the wounding to the underline, which was not anticipated by the state. And it's not the final version, so we don't know what the lawyers can come back. So I suggest that, if we want to try to have a finance committee meeting, if we feel like finance needs to make a recommendation on the version before the board meeting, we can do that. Or however you all want to do that. If we want to have a same finance committee meeting that morning, And in the meantime, we can all answer any individual questions about how this was structured and written. I wrote the document, so I know why I did that.
So, but I think we have time after this is digested and after you see what Elmo's lawyers come back with, to have another finance meeting, maybe a group Zoom.
Yeah.
To have some
I'll
part.
give it to you after you read this, and let's give it to you after.
So when it
Today.
can't be Wednesday morning, it can't be Wednesday morning before Thanksgiving, because we've got another committee meeting that we're trying to put in from that 9 to 11, so. We're tight on options, but whatever works for everybody, we can do a Zoom.
And it could be, I
Yeah,
mean,
Yeah, yeah,
but you don't, but bottom line is you don't have to decide, right?
right.
right, yeah, take it back. If you all have any questions, want to email me. I unfortunately, I've got to head out here. so-
Yeah, I got a hard stop here too, to be honest with you.
Okay,
Is there anything else that we need to cover?
no, that's it. That's the end of
Mike,
my,
you got
get
anything?
ready to ask the question.
I had questions about this, but, you know, I get together.
Yeah, I'll written, and then, like I said, we need to get back together on that.
Yeah, because I want you all to understand why.
Lisa, you got anything?
This is a big key.
Yeah.
Elisa said I'm good, and Jay Michael indicated he wasn't gonna be able to make it today, and Dr. Craddock as well, so.
I'll read through this now, once you read that one.
I read it.
Well, it
I
doesn't.
mean, the only thing is, we get paid 15% or.
Yeah, I understand.
You got.
Yeah, but then they get 50% of the loan, I mean, I gotta see it, I mean, it seems like that is, I don't know, I was going.
Are we adjourned?
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
he just adjourned the meeting. Thank you, Alicia.
Straight.
Okay, bye-bye.
That was there.
Time is it? 10:39.
Here's